I guess Caleb Williams would be the last guy. And I think while he's probably incredibly gifted throwing a football, I mean, really gifted just throwing a football, I think he has a ways to go. When I watch him, at times I feel like he still has to learn how to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
And I've never been a guy, Colin, who decides a guy's a bust after playing 1 year in the league. So that's not what I'm saying at all. I just think he's got to learn. And I think he needs hard coaching. I think they need, this is just my opinion, of course, the Bears will do what they want, but I think they need to hire an NFL coach to coach him that has an NFL resume and that's done it in the league and knows what it takes.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. There has been a big learning curve with Caleb, and unfortunately, I don't think he's had that coaching through this season, so you haven't been able to see enough of that development throughout the season. And I think that has been such a problem for kind of how Caleb, how the season has just kind of unfolded. And yeah, all the people, and I've already talked about this so much, I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But right, all the people that are trying to jump to the conclusion that he's a bust, that he's this, he's that, like that really is just a ton of nonsense to me, a ton of nonsense. And we know that success and growth is just not linear. And again, when you don't have the right coaching and the right support around you, it's definitely going to be inhibited. And that is one of the that is one of the checks against getting a Ben Johnson, because it seems like, I don't know if Ben Johnson is going to be able to offer that to a Caleb Williams. We know Ben Johnson's going to be able to come up with great game plans and great play calling and play designs and all of that, but which will absolutely help Caleb Williams and will give Caleb Williams more success. But will that be enough to create the foundation of what Caleb Williams ultimately needs? That is kind of the ultimate question right now. But I think what's most impressed me with Caleb this season is actually his resilience. We've definitely talked about this a lot through the season because there's only been so much to talk about in terms of the Chicago Bears and how this season has unfolded. But there's some people that have tried to call out his body language and his mannerisms and this and that, and I really think that they're reaching in a lot of those situations. I really, really do, because I think a season like this, it would be so easy for him to actually look like a complete disaster. And I know they're not getting the wins, but the fact that Caleb Williams still shows you throughout any game he's played what he's kind of still capable of doing, I think goes a long way. I really, really do. And I do think that his failures, not only from a team, but also him individually, are going to help him tremendously. I like to think of it like this. My failures have helped me become a better person and, have taught me how to be a better person. And my successes have allowed me to be a better person. So my failures have taught me how to be a better person, and my successes have, allowed me to be that better person. And I really do believe that that's what can and will happen with Caleb Williams. I really, really do. I think in a way, considering the energy that he kind of brought going into the season, considering all the hype, considering what all the expectations were, if he had a pretty good season, if he was like legitimately in contention for Rookie of the Year, maybe made a Pro Bowl, essentially had Jaden Daniels' season and the success, I'm not so sure it'd go well for him. I really don't. I think this offseason would have been glitz and glamour and commercials and money and relationship, who knows? I really do. I really think it could have gone off to a very weird side. I really do. Before you know it, he'd be giving interviews with Lil Wayne like OBJ and dyeing his hair, whatever. Like and being in Paris eating, pizza with models. Like, and I wouldn't even be able to blame him, honestly. I really wouldn't. Like that's the thing. So I think Caleb would need to continue to mature and grow up. And I think he's done such an awesome job because I think he's in that process of experiencing that right now. And I just think that a season like this is honestly probably the best thing that's going to happen to him, and probably the thing that needed to happen to him more than a successful season. I really do. I really, really do. And that's why it's just kind of like, what's the saying? Like, God doesn't give you what you want, he gives you what you need. I think there's some sort of saying like that. There has to be. I know I didn't just invent it. And so, whether you believe in God, universe, whatever, it's right there. So, it's tough. And that's why I know so many of the people who are either neutral on Caleb or, of course, just, don't like him or want to see him fail. They're just so quick to kind of just want to bury him and be like, he was supposed to be amazing. He's supposed to be generational. He was supposed to, do this. And it's like, again, I can only combat those comments so much because I've already done it 100 different times. And I try so hard to not keep repeating myself, even though it's literally impossible when we're talking about sports, because next year we're going to have a whole new season. And the reality is that we're all going to have the identical same conversations about Josh Allen, about Lamar Jackson, about Mahomes and the Chiefs, Andy Reid, this team and that. Like, I could just record all my takes right now and make it all up without knowing how the season's going to unfold, and it's going to be all the same thing again and again. So it's impossible. It truly is impossible. So I try my best to not, to stop it when I can, but again, it's inevitable. But I just think, we have to just preach patience and grace for Caleb this season and how it's unfolded. And I really, really wholeheartedly believe this season will end up being a huge positive, and that he will be redeemed sooner rather than later. And the more and more I think about it, the more I feel Caleb, the Chicago Bears really should get Mike Vrabel, not Flores, not Ben Johnson. It's not clear to me, based on who I believe Ben Johnson to be, that would necessarily get Caleb where he needs to be. Because if anything, Ben Johnson almost turns into kind of like a Sean McVay in terms of what not necessarily the style and who they are in terms of coaching itself, but in terms of what he did with the franchise, where he's kind of like, hey, I can win, but Jared Goff is not good enough for me right now. I got to get a more experienced quarterback. Get rid of your number one pick. Get rid of him. I know you paid him whatever. Move on from him. Give me Stafford. Boom. We won a Super Bowl. Like, it just would not shock me if that's what happens with Ben Johnson, where it's like he builds his team, even if he gets his GM and all of that, they build this great team. Caleb Williams clearly looks significantly better, like Jared Goff did, but they reach this point where it's just like, I'm not here. I can't develop you. Like, that's not my expertise. I can't get you to this next level. Sorry. Goodbye. And then now, boom. Give me, and it's like, I don't know who that quarterback, probably wouldn't even know his name right now, because it's probably, some other random person, and I could see that being a possibility. So, I don't know. It's just is what it is sometimes. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? What has impressed you the most about him this season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.